here. Alright, and we are back for Tier B in the Challenge Series. After letting the Slipstream Racing Series get a little bit ahead, since there are more episodes of SRS to make than there are of Challenge Series. That would be 26 to make for the SRS, only 23 here. And Tier B, obviously the cars get a little bit faster. None of the vehicles in Tier A would even come close to competing in Tier B, so we are just kind of rolling with a completely new set of cars and some of the same drivers. It's another 12-round schedule. We have Riley Blanchard in her trademark Corvette. Taylor's still in. Basically, the first, 10 are all the same vehicle, same character from the previous year. The first new contestant we have, Madison Palmer, is getting on the Corvette train. She prefers Camaros, but she's trying to branch out so she can actually become a part of the series because there are no Camaros on this game. That's the same. And then we have Linne Chitose is back, staying with Mazda. She's now in an RX-7. Same with Gina. A rookie driver, this is his debut. Same with Madison. Hyde Kido, who seemed to really take a liking to the Ferrari GTO. And Eric's not here this time, so he just kind of rolled with that. And then Pablo Hernandez is also new to Tier B, and he will run a BMW M4. Now you'll just get a look at exclusively the races that'll be in this episode. The GP Circuit of the Nurburgring starts off the championship, followed by the Moto GP layout for Barcelona, Imola, and then Red Bull Ring. And without any further delay, let us begin with the Nurburgring GP Circuit, obviously. We ain't got all day for the Nurburgring Nordschleife. Alright, we are on the starting grid of the Nurburgring GP, and, well, Hyde's not getting the easy introduction, starting dead last. And, well, we can only hope that the 911 won't be as dominant as it was in its first appearance. Hope, I say. But Travis Wilde is still here, so will he win his third Challenge Series title? Maybe, maybe not. Also, ignore the fact that that's the Indianapolis 500 pace car, and therefore has the Indianapolis Motor Speedway logo on the side. But there's no other mention or indication of Indianapolis anywhere in this game, nor is it a track you can drive on, despite the fact that they obviously got the licensing and rights to use the logo in the game. That's hard enough as it is. You may as well try and go all the way and get the racetrack. It's all pretty much cycling through at the start or the front of the grid. Dedrick overtook Isabella off the start, but I think that's all it is from the top half of the field. Never mind, Travis attempted to overtake Taylor, but has failed. Madison's up a place as overtaking Thrasher, who tried desperately to take that back, obviously. He might have a chance, too. Yeah, the AI gets stranded on the curb and they don't know what to do, so that's another place for Thrasher. He's not going to convert this into another move down the inside of Travis. He has the nerve to send it all the way in. And he will be rewarded with now up to P8. So he converted a loss to a gain. Very evenly spread out for the top 4 right now. Isabella falling a little bit behind the other 3, but I feel like I'm looking at the Powerpuff Girls in front of me. And I guess this would be Professor Utonium. Yeah, this is actually Princess Morbox. This isn't Mojo Jojo. Color scheme's wrong. There isn't really a dark blue. Well, I mean, maybe this. This is blue, but not dark blue. Actually, Mojo Jojo's green, so this would be Mojo Jojo. Blue would be... I don't know. Green Gang is obviously green. And Mojo Jojo wears a dark blue cape, so I guess we'll just go with that. So yeah, the top 7 just Powerpuff Girls references. There you go. Maybe even top 8, because Thrasher could be him. I'm taking this analogy way further than I have any reason to. Ooh, okay. Thrasher is very brazen, but that's not going to get him anywhere. And Dedrick overtook Riley down the front straightaway, so it's now a Porsche 1-2. Yeah, clearly me saying maybe the 911s won't be so dominant this time, that was, clearly that was a bit of wishful thinking on my end. I'd still unable to get literally anywhere. Also, Travis re-overtook Thrasher, and now he looks to try a move on Taylor, but the door is closed. I saw Taylor, like, consider trying to pass, but doesn't have the power to really get alongside the BMW, so... The M4 is also a brand new car to this tier, and it seems to be blending in just fine. Oh, what the heck was that? Travis just all over the place, and that's given Thrasher back 8th, and maybe 7th with any luck. Ooh, man, that was awfully close to that wall for no reason. But now Thrasher has converted himself into 2nd place. Dedrick runs the fastest lap, despite having to pass Riley at the first turn, which Isabella is now trying to follow him through. However, I don't think that's going to happen, because now Riley's on the inside twice. Meanwhile, Pablo tried the same thing on Linné, but, again, same results. And holding the outside around here is almost impossible, because you have to do it twice, and then you're not really rewarded with a good corner to have the inside for after that. You have to get it done decisively in the first turn, or you have to throw it around their outside, which obviously the AI are never going to try and do that, so they'll never even be forced into a position where they have to do that, usually. Not at turn 1. Everywhere else it seems like, yeah, but not there. I mean, the Porsches aren't really getting away from Riley and Isabella like I thought they would be. But the fact that I'm already seeing the same pattern develop is kind of scary, because it kind of seems like we're just going to be living out a bit of deja vu here. Just going to be the same 3 drivers, or same 3 cars. Actually, yeah, same 3 drivers, just kind of running the show again. We may need to look at just if these cars really do belong in this tier or not. Because yeah, I mean, if they don't, it pretty much knocks these three out of the tier completely. But at the same time, it's kind of like, if they're just gonna run away with every race, it sort of has to be done. Like, if this is gonna be the product that I get every time, it's just gonna have to happen for the third year. And clearly Pablo is screwing around, because now Thrasher is gonna finish 6th place, and Taylor is gonna sneak a 7th place away from Pablo as well. And Madison's also going to swipe 9th place away from Travis at the last second. So, not a great showing for our previous winner with Travis Wild, actually pretty much finishing where he started the race. And not moving up the field, even though Dedrick actually had to pass the car in 2nd to get to where he finished, and yet Travis was just like, how do I do that? But now we quickly move on to Barcelona, the Moto GP layout, which basically means no chicane. Well, it's not a great day to be a Corvette driver, and Hyde's still not getting anything from the starting grid. This has to be some kind of nightmare. Now it's Dedrick near the back, Travis starting 4th, and Stephanie looking very set to increase her points lead already, because Dedrick's way down here, and Riley's even further down. Yeah, like, you can see that. So the game acknowledges the track exists, but couldn't put it on the game. She looked absolutely lost off the start. That'll actually cost her a bit, because now here comes Linne with an absolute rocket start, who already got ahead of Darius before the camera even shifted. And Darius is also going to try and pass her. I don't think he'll get it though, because now that's the outside, and there's a curb there. And he's still hanging on. Linne freaking out ahead of them. And the overtake is done. So, a god-awful start for Stephanie. Kind of brings her back down to earth in comparison, but her main competition is still running 14th and 11th. Wow, Riley got a huge start to get up to almost the points positions before the end of the first lap. And she is in the points, but Isabella has taken them back away, and now Dedrick is back. Wait, what? My god, no, he's 11th. There we go, leaderboard. Jeez. That's not what I wanted. Oh yeah, I said no chicane, but it also takes the hairpin out and makes it a little bit more of a wide corner. Meanwhile, behind Stephanie, these two are fighting for 7th place. I think Pablo will still be able to defend it though, because that's the inside, and I think the M4 and Corvette are pretty much equal in terms of cornering. The Corvette may have the smallest advantage, but it's not enough to overcome being on the outside, and both Corvettes definitely making up for their bad starting grid spots on the first lap. Madison up 4 places, Riley up 3. And top speed of the Corvette might help a little bit, but not if that gets in the way. Madison pretty much effortlessly ahead of Hernandez going into 1. But clearly still anticipated a challenge from Pablo and left a lane that did need to be left open. But now it's set. As Travis moves his way into second. And Darius started in 5th, and he's now fighting for 3rd against Taylor, and yeah, he's gonna take that. So they have a lot of big movers on the track in this race, which is kind of uncommon for Catalunya Barcelona. It's 2 names for the exact same track. Usually we're lucky to see any passing, but we've seen, well, Riley's up 3, Madison's up 4, Stephanie is down 3, Travis is up 2, Darius is up 2. Travis just got into Thrasher, I think. If he didn't, then he got unbelievably close to doing it. I don't know why I'm tired. I'm actually kind of not, really. It's just an illusion, more or less. Yeah, Thrasher, I think your lead is terminated. Nope, never mind. The Cobra acceleration is going to carry Travis away, or carry him away from Travis, and Darius now looking set to steal 2nd place, but that's going to be a very tall order. He has the fastest lap. He's gotten Travis, and he about got Thrasher too. He's definitely gotten Travis. Meanwhile, Stephanie unable to even comprehend making a pass. Madison's now joined the party up here at the front. Meanwhile, Riley has made not much progress. She's back into... No, she's not. I forgot Dedrick passed all of them, so never mind. She's trying to fight her way in to fight for the points, but she has to get Isabella off her shoulders first, whose handling is allowing her to stay ahead of Riley way easier than, you know, most other cars. Man, Hyde clearly got the short end. Eric wasn't having this many problems with this car, so I don't know what Hyde's problem is. I guess the problems of being a rookie. No experience, not much skill, but I mean, that excuse only works so much. Now that's critical. Messing that up is basically giving Travis an invitation to steal back 2nd place. However, I don't think it can be taken. Thrasher just screwed up this 3rd to last corner. Now Darius has the invitation. And makes him pay for it dearly. So with that utter bombshell of a maneuver, Darius from 5th on the grid, Darius Ruel is going to win the race. Thrasher probably has hit a mental blue screen after throwing away the win like that. Stephanie did eventually pass Taylor, Madison with the fastest lap after overtaking Linne. Both Isabella and Riley got past Thomas and Riley, so Isabella scores a point. That race was, it wasn't dramatic, but it was still exciting. Gina, O'Reilly, and Hyde still haven't scored. Stephanie 6 points ahead of Thrasher, who, Stephanie could not maximize her high starting grid spot. She was almost doomed to 6th place, but managed to get around Linne and Taylor to instead take 4th. And now we head to Imola. Alright, I try to scratch my ears so I can cut the recording. I'm here on the starting grid of Imola, and I'm kind of looking up and down trying to figure out what is happening here. The Porsches are getting kind of yeeted. Travis is starting decent, but Stephanie's way at the bottom, and Thrasher is considerably higher, which means that Stephanie's points lead will be basically gone. Certainly a much better affair for the Corvettes, who are getting their getting some justice after their starting grids in the last race. Not that Madison really needed justice when she went from like 11th to 6th, but I mean Riley certainly needs redemption. Started dead last, now she starts 4th. Hyde starts 10th, but it's his highest starting position so far, but I don't think he's still going to be able to convert any of that into any kind of points. And Gina and Thomas, the other remaining drivers with no points on the board, don't really have much better starting spots either. Yeah, and just as a demonstration there, I think Riley's going to get probably up to... Nope, never mind, she got stuck behind Taylor, and Akira is just out of here. It actually might be her losing a spot to Thrasher if she isn't careful. Riley was the leading non-Carrera at the end of the last championship, so if she's faltering now, it's not really a great sign. I don't think she'll be able to repeat that, per se. Thrasher cannot keep it on the track, but does kind of minimize losses. Doesn't spin out or get caught in the gravel, so he'll only lose a place to Travis. English, do you speak it? Darius with another rocket start is up 3 places to 8th place. Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Linné is down 2, and that could be 3 in a minute. Yeah. The AI just don't like curbs. They don't know what to do with them. So at the present moment, Thomas is looking fine to finally score something. Now Taylor defending from Travis through the chicane and finding herself in the next county, but smacking into Travis, so... I mean, I guess that's one way to not get past, but I don't really think that's the way. Madison is just tearing off. She's already got, would probably be like a 2 or 3 second lead by the time we reach the start-finish. Riley is up to 3rd. Her whatever pass she put on Taylor is probably the reason why she was under pressure from Travis when they got to the chicane. Yeah, 2.5 second lead, and then that's another 2 seconds to the next car after Akira. And then it's 3.5 to Taylor, and then after 2 more seconds is when the field gets super close together. For the most part. Darius overtook Thomas, and is looking for more with Travis. Don't think he'll get more. That's a bold decision making there. Doesn't brake quite late enough to make it decisive, so now he has to risk the gravel trap, which he stays out of completely, to his benefit. The battle at the front not really getting that much closer. I don't think it's getting any further away, but it's not getting closer either. The way the AI take these 2 corners is really weird. Unless you're saving fuel, there's never really a reason why you should be both off the gas and off the brake. Certainly that's the rule of thumb for downforce cars. I guess you probably have to let off in the middle of corners, but if you're not in a corner and you're just kind of not on the throttle, you've taken the corner wrong. It's that simple. So, heaven's sake, Kai, you got it? My God! Just shred your tires, why don't you? Yeah, the distance at the front is literally unchanged. Oh, you're 600th of a second faster. Oh, whoop-de-doo. And they've all gotten very far away from Taylor. He was starting to see Thrasher kind of fill her rearview mirrors. And then speaking of fill rearview mirrors, Travis, in 6th place, is beginning to create a bit of a train behind him, as everyone from Gemini is his nickname, Darius back to the end of the field is pretty much in a conga line where nobody is more than a second off the next car. Well, barring any unforeseen and sudden circumstance, looks like all 3 of the remaining drivers that hadn't scored up to this point will finally break through. Well, I mean, this would be something unforeseen, as Darius kind of oofed himself trying to pass Travis just there, and that will allow Thomas to go by, and will sort of concertina the field together. Gina will attempt to overtake Hyde, but Hyde has better acceleration and can therefore get back ahead, maybe, I don't know. Old gearbox not helping. Hyde manages to not lock up this time, which helps. I guess the sudden circumstance doesn't necessarily mean that they pass each other. It means, more so, do they avoid being passed by either of these 2 Porsche drivers, who are too busy passing each other to try and pass anybody else and get into a points position. Hyde just ran into Gina. And Stephanie about did the same to Schwartz. My God. Thrasher was, at some point, or you know, at least going over the start-finish, very close to Taylor, however, has sort of fallen off of the pace just a little bit, probably because they've hit, you know, corners, which the Lotus is obviously better at. Thrasher will have one more shot because there's no way he's ever going to be close enough for the chicane to work. So he's got the last 2 corners. This is his last opportunity to steal 4th. I don't think he's really going to do it. I mean, the acceleration's obviously on his side, but that's only going to get him so far, because he would also have to be able to turn well enough to send it and not miss the turn. So, yeah, your top 5 is pretty much settled. Top 6, really. Top 8, basically the same scenario. The Cobra's going to out-accelerate the Supra and secure 7th place from him. Madison Palmer wins her first race in the Challenge Series. And only her 3rd event in the entire thing. And somehow, some way, everybody else, including Hyde, who hadn't scored in the first 2 races, has now scored. There is a tie for the points lead, and Madison and Riley only 2 and 3 points off of the points lead, respectively. A race win from anybody above 11th place could take the points lead away if Thrasher and Stephanie don't score anything. I find that unlikely. Red Bull Ring is a track practically built for the Cobra, but stranger things have happened. Alright, we are at the starting grid ready for the last race of the episode at the Red Bull Ring. Despite Darius seems to have not been really rewarded for his valiant efforts in the last two races, he will start dead last. The other super driver, Akira Taniguchi, not really getting much better treatment. And I said this track was built for the Cobra. Well, Thrasher better hope he can prove me right if he wants to take the points lead away. But I don't think that's going to happen because Stephanie starts up in 4th, and considering, I mean, I don't know. If the start of this race goes anything like it did for her at Barcelona, then I don't really know. But if she drives correctly, she'll probably end up with 2nd or 3rd place at least, possibly even a win. Even if this track is probably best suited for the Corvettes and Cobras, which they all start at the bottom. Except for Thomas, who, if my theory was correct, should be able to pretty easily win this race. The acceleration of the Porsche, especially at high revs, means that she should have at least, draw even to the M4 by the time they reach T2, I mean. She'll be ahead of it, actually. The M4 is actually the one getting brave under the brakes, trying to stay with her. But to no avail. It's also very foggy here at the Red Bull Ring, and I'm pretty sure Stephanie is going to follow through, and yeah, a little bit of grass, but now she's ahead of Isabella Flynn as well. Thomas, as to kind of fill in my theory that the Cobras are basically built for this track, is indeed pulling away masterfully. Is Thrasher getting the same luck? No! What happened here? Did he off himself or did he get wrecked? I'm thinking he offed himself. That's a bit of grass on the wheels. He tried desperately, but, well, honestly, I mean, he made a crazy move, but his execution wasn't wrong. It was the fact that Madison tried to turn into the corner, completely unaware that there is, in fact, another vehicle there, and just spun him off into the 4th dimension. And he's hit another blue screen of death. Isabella going to use the corners on the second half of the track to try and hold on to any hope of staying with Stephanie, but I think as soon as we get out of this next right-hand corner, that hope is going to have all but diminished. I figured Riley would have moved up, not down, but here we are. Especially with somebody getting taken out of the race, she's still down 2 places. Meanwhile, Madison, up 2 places. Gina getting a little bit frisky up there, trying to keep 4th place, or take 4th place away from Pablo. Will she succeed? No, because Pablo's brakes are way better. But Gina's got more nerves, but still nothing. And now instead you'll be rewarded by being overtaken by Dedrick, probably. Or maybe not if he decides to ride the grass. I left this on 5 laps. Oops. Well, we're going to be here for a bit of an endurance race, so hopefully the race will remain entertaining throughout. Speaking of entertaining, there goes Madison, just catching Dedrick Schwartz completely off guard. And the Corvette horsepower should propel her to 6th. Riley has apparently been rear-ended at some point. I don't know how. She was in the back already. Isabella, much to my surprise, still keeping within sight of Stephanie, as they both, I think, are kind of beginning to close in on Thomas in the lead, but the acceleration for the Cobra should allow him to stay ahead anyway, even if he does come under pressure from either one of the two. It's all pretty much a conga line going into this corner, unless your name is Darius Burrell, in which case you're going to try and pass Hyde. Akira and the other Supra trying the same. Darius will succeed, maybe. I don't know. Yes, as soon as Hyde shifted, his days were numbered. So Darius has succeeded, but Kira could not because Taylor's car has just too much handling for a move like that to work. Now instead, Riley will seize the moment to get out of last place on track. But we'll have no challenge for Darius. I was also totally wrong. They're not getting any closer to Thomas in the lead. The gap actually increased by about a tenth. Who was the... Oh yeah, probably Thomas, because he's the only one... Yeah. Besides them, the fourth fastest car on the track is definitely Madison, who ran a 46. Faster than either of these two, which means on raw pace alone, she should be able to pass the two before the race is over. But she has to play her cards right to get the chance. She's hardly... No, actually no. As far as passing people go, she's hardly turned a wheel wrong today. But she also did just kind of absolutely junk Thrasher earlier. Here comes Gina, but a very half-hearted move attempt. And Pablo's just gonna sweep back ahead. And her poor decision-making has left Gina open to a potential retaliation from Madison, but nothing doing. Meanwhile, Akira tried and failed to pass Travis, but he ran the fastest lap of the race despite this. The Supers have speed. If they had gotten better starting grid spots, this race could have been going very differently, but they've had struggles constantly to try and pass anybody, as they don't have the handling and low speed cornering ability. Nor do they have the low speed acceleration. Like, they're good when they get rolling, but it takes a while for them to actually get rolling, so that's made it hard for them to secure passes coming out of these tighter corners. They both improved their places since they started, little by little, but it's nothing massive to report as far as, like, ooh, we're up 7 places. Speaking of up places, Madison did in fact pass Gina, I presume into turn 1, following Gina's attempt at passing Pablo, which went absolutely nowhere. Madison will try the same thing, despite the fact that she should know very well that it didn't work for Gina, and will also not work for her. You have to wait for later for that, because Pablo's got too much stability. Madison will just about hold Gina off from doing the same thing that Madison did to Gina the lap before that. Gina trying to show Madison up through the last corner has actually resulted in her being overtaken by Schwartz. Possibly. I don't know, it's up in the air, but I think Gina has just about kept that place to herself. For a second I thought Darius' engine was smoking. No, that's just grass. Riley thought last second, but thought better of it, and will just kind of sit passively in 13th. Obviously, no point in risking your car if you're not exactly going to get yourself into any kind of points position anyway. You may as well just live out the remainder of the event and hope to do something with the next race. Just forget that today ever happened, more or less. And yet, she's still trying to pass Taylor anyway. Through the part of the track that you don't typically want to pass in the first place, no less. As I had calculated, Thomas O'Reilly, using the Cobra, which seemed to be built for this course, will absolutely dominate said course and win at Red Bull Ring to close out the episode. Stephanie will take the points lead away, though, with her second place finish. Isabella with a shocking third. Madison, at some point, also stole fourth from Pablo, capping off another impressive run for her, starting 10th on the grid, and making her way almost to the podium. And then everyone just came flooding in as soon as Gina finished. Actually, as soon as Pablo finished, really. And looking at the point standings after the first episode, it is a 6-point lead for Stephanie over Madison, who is now second in points. Thrasher is now back down to third, with Riley fourth in points. And then it's a three-way tie for fifth between Isabella, Travis, and Thomas. But we're kind of starting to rule out who has it and who doesn't, and I'm probably going to go ahead and say that I think we can pretty much rule out, I mean, things are subject to change. This is probably the most evenly matched championship so far. The only ones that I could really say we can just rule out are probably Hernandez and the RX-7 drivers, and Hyde. I would say, oh, well, Taylor doesn't have much of a chance. Obviously she does, because right up there, 2 points ahead of her, Isabella is actually sitting fifth in points. It's too early to say anything like that now. Give it until the end of the next episode, and then we'll know for sure who is and who isn't in.